Hey guys, this is a forecast for Aries for the period between the 20th of between the 20th of April until the 20th of May. So that's the Taurus season. So first let's say a few words about what we are going to cover in this video. So we have the Sun entering Taurus and Mercury going back to Aries. Then we have Mars going to Gemini, we have a new moon in Taurus, we have Venus in Aries, Mercury going direct, full moon in Scorpio Taurus, the North Node entering Leo, and Mercury going to Taurus again. So there's a lot of events during this month, so stay with us if you want to find out how it will influence you personally. So this is the chart for the 20th of April. So here you can see what we are analyzing. In this case, the Sun in Taurus and Mercury going to Aries. And this is the date. So this is the 20th of April. So the main idea is that during this period, so Taurus season, means that the transit Sun is going to be in Taurus. And for you, this is going to be in your second house. So the whole month is mostly related with your stability. Taurus as a sign is related generally with being more grounded, being more oriented on practical things, on things that are visible and achievable. So this means that this is the month that you can be more concentrated on some kind of practical actions, things that are not so much related with the desire to start something, which was more about the topic of the previous month. But now the main idea is to think about activities, ideas, situations that can improve your real life, your material achievements, your success in finances, and actually all kind of resources. So that's the most important topic for you, Aries. During the whole month, you can concentrate on your finances. You need to find some, new ways to earn money, to improve your situation, to be more grounded and practical. And on the same day, on the 20th, we have also Mercury, which is retrograde, going back to Aries. So it will be in your first house. And Mercury retrograde generally is related with some kind of challenges in the area of communications, in the area everything which includes information, everything which you have planned. And when Mercury transits retrograde your first house, it means that it affects you personally. So that's a very strong impact, and you should be careful. Careful with everything that you are trying to schedule, with everything that you are planning, the small details, because there might be some kind of complications. You can forget something. There might be some kind of misunderstanding. So generally, we should say that after the 20th, you definitely need to avoid signing contracts or starting something totally new, because first house is our activities and our personal initiatives. So with Mercury retrograde there, definitely you should avoid these new projects. If it's something related with the past, if you're restarting, then that's perfectly okay. Next we have on the 21st of April, we have Mars moving to Gemini. And for you, this is here. So Mars, Gemini, and your third house. And Mars will stay there for around 2 months. The transits of Mars are a little bit longer than the other planets. So that's a pretty important transit for you. And Mars is related with the area, this is the planet that is related with our actions, what we are really concentrated on, but that we need to fight for something. We need to put so much effort that sometimes we might be impatient, or the general situation might be more require from us to take really fast decisions. And Mars in Gemini generally activates very much the area of communications, the area of writing, speaking, interacting with others, working with all kind of information. And for you, this is in your third house. Third house is as well related with the same areas. So that's a time when you can concentrate very much on, for example, learning something new. That's another meaning of third house. And Gemini, some kind of education, some kind of training, especially if it's something more practical oriented, because that's more an area of third house. That's a great time to do that. Also for some kind of travelings, but be prepared that Mars sometimes is related with possible conflicts. So probably that's not the best time to travel, for example, to go on a romantic trip, but more if you need, to be really active, for example, if you want to see many places, or if you're planning some kind of business trip, then Mars in third house can actually be very beneficial transit. And generally, Mars in Gemini is related with much more, active energy, because previously we had Mars in Taurus, and Mars in Taurus is very slow, related with, things require a lot of time before we are able to start them. And now that we have Mars moving to Gemini, the energy starts to move faster. So all kind of activities may not require so much time before you're able to start them. And mainly you can be concentrated on education, traveling, information, contacts with others. And with Mars, it suggests that you need to initiate that. Mars is not a planet related with waiting for the other person to ask you for something. No, this is the time when you should search for these contacts, you should communicate with other people. Next, we have on the 26th of April, we have a new moon in Taurus. So this is again in your second house, of course, where we have the sun. And as we know, the new moon is a time when there is a lot of new flow, a strong new flow of energy, very intense, very focused. And it means that that's a great time for you to start something new. The new moons are the time when we can, be inspired to start a lot of new things. Of course, you need to wait a few days, not exactly starting on the same day, because when we have a new moon, it means that the moon is invisible. But a few days after that, so around 2 days after that, is a great time to start something related with the area of second house. So this can be a new project that can improve your financial situation, or somebody, for example, may start a new job that can improve their finances, or you can find a new source of income or some kind of investment if you're searching for that. And generally this is a time to be really practical and grounded. And patient as well, because Taurus is a very fixed sign, so very slow sign. So these are projects that can be very stable and can be successful after some period of time. And during the next 2 weeks, so after the new moon, is a great time to expand your plans, to achieve your goals and ideas related with second house, so about finances, resources, and so on. And second house is related with our health as well, especially with our energy. So that's a great time to start a new health regime, some kind of diet, or anything that can improve your physical health. Next, we have on the 28th of April, transit Venus enters Aries. So that's your own sign. It will be in your first house. So generally we can say that that's a very positive transit, and Venus in the first house is related with being able to attract the attention of other people, and they're more likely to enjoy your company, to find you more attractive as a person. Of course, that's a great time for starting new relationships, for initiating them, for communicating with your partner. and all kind of activities related with Venus. So that's everything, including art or something creative, or business related with beauty. These activities will be more beneficial for you after the 28th of April, so after Venus enters your first house. And we should remember that previously we had Venus retrograde in Aries, so that's actually a very positive time to correct something which went wrong during the period of Venus retrograde. So that can be a time when, things may go back to normal. You can find the solutions and find some new directions for you. And generally a very positive transit for, finding more harmony in your life, for, you can feel surrounded with more beauty, for some kind of beauty procedures. That's again a very positive transit. And next, on the 3rd of May, we have the transit Mercury going direct. So Mercury is in your first house in Aries, and that should be a very positive and important transit for you, which suggests that, your plans can, go back to normal. Things should start to be easier for you, and you can rely more that things that you have planned will, develop in the way that you have planned them. So Mercury going direct means that you have a green light for signing new contracts, for some kind of travelings, for communicating with others, for education, and everything which is related with the area of Mercury. So generally, after the 3rd of May, you have a green light for new projects, new personal initiatives, and contacts. So very positive, important transit, especially for you, because right now the transit Mercury is in your own sign in Aries. And next, on the 10th of May, we have a full moon in Scorpio and Taurus. So the sun is in Taurus in your 2nd house, and the moon is in Scorpio in your 8th house. So the full moon is the time when we can achieve some kind of, visible results related with the area, with the houses which are affected. So 2nd and 8th house, these are the houses related with our resources, our finances, our energy, and everything which belongs to us. Especially, so 2nd house is our own belongings, our personal actives, and 8th house is related with resources coming from other people. So generally this is a time when you can achieve success in your finances, everything which includes your resources. And for example, you might be able to achieve some kind of success in investments, or to attract another person to invest in some kind of, your own project. And this is a time, on the other hand, when there can be a conflict between these two areas, 2nd and 8th house. And another meaning is that 2nd house is our everything which is really practical and visible at the same time. This is reality, material world. And 8th house is the invisible world as well. This is the, things that we can feel but we may not be able to see. So you can feel this conflict between, two impulses. One of them which might be related with the need to be focused on practical things, on material things, on reality. And on the other hand, you may feel the need to, focus more on something which is not so practical and grounded. You may want to spend more time, for example, on some kind of spiritual activities, or everything which you do on private and is not visible, doesn't provide a visible result. So that's an interesting full moon related with full moon related with the need to find the balance. Whenever we have a full moon, we always have we are asked to find the balance between these two areas. In your case, this will be about the practical activities and everything which is visible, and on the other hand, the invisible things, the things that you are able to feel but not so much to explain or to see. And next we have something really important, and it happens on the 9th of May. So we have the lunar nodes changing the signs. We have the north node going back to Leo and the south node going back to Aquarius. So you know that the lunar nodes are actually moving retrograde, so they're moving from Virgo. The north node is moving from Virgo and your 6th house to Leo and your 5th house. And that's a very important and long-lasting transit. So here we are going to say just a few words about that, because that's a very long topic, but generally you are going to feel the influence of this transit for the next year and a half. That's the time when the transit north node is going to be in your 5th house, and this is a time when you can, the north node has a very similar influence like Jupiter. It expands things, it brings success, opportunities, and luck. So for the next 1 year and a half, the area of 5th house will be very beneficial for you. And the north node is related with some kind of, something coming related with our karma. So these are, achievements, success, and opportunities and luck, which you have deserved. This is your karma. And that's a great time when you can feel really creative. 5th house, you can feel really inspired. That's a wonderful time for romantic relationships, for your children, for finding love and experiencing joy from your life. So a very, very positive and harmonious transit for you, and it also makes trine with your own sign, with Aries. So that should be a very positive year and a half for you. And the south node will enter Aquarius and your 11th house. Again, it will stay for the next 1 year and a half there for you. And the south node has a similar influence like Saturn. So it means that you have to give up on something. There might be some kind of challenges for you. So in order to achieve the success related with 5th house, you need to give up on something which is related with 11th house. So it suggests that it won't be a time for so many, social activities, for so much social contact and communicating with many people. That's not the best time for you, the next 1 year and a half. You may notice that you don't have, so much chances to do that, or you may just not experience a joy from so much social activities. So the next 1 year and a half shouldn't be so much concentrated on your social life. And finally, on the 16th of May, we have the transit Mercury going back to Taurus and your 2nd house. So this is Mercury, Taurus, and 2nd house. So it suggests that it will be a very positive time for you to find and to have some kind of practical ideas that can improve your financial situation. This can be, like new projects, totally new goals for you. And try to be sure that everything you're planning has, can bring you some kind of material positives. Everything, it can be related with your finances or something that can improve your situation in a practical way. Mercury in Taurus in 2nd house. For people who are trying to find, a new way to earn money, new ideas how to increase their income, Mercury in 2nd house actually can be very beneficial transit. So these were the most important indications and transits that you're going to have during the Taurus season. So Most important, we have the sun in your second house. So this month is going to be about practical things related with your resources, expanding your resources, and finances. So these were the most important indications. A very interesting month with lots of events, and I hope it was helpful for you. And I will see you next month again.